numbers love to watch the character think and react. Not the actor. They love to believe that the character is reacting. They can only see the character react if for an instant there is pause. I'm so in love, I'm singing a love song, and then there's a high note. That's a pause. The high note is our money. That's where the audience registers Romeo, Juliet, die for her. You know what I'm saying? The same thing happens in our dancing. Let's say that I'm so infuriated at Bernardo, and I'm with the gang. Yeah, I saw him enter. That's the perfect entrance for Bernardo, you know, in West Side Story. Riff goes, Bernardo's right there. And that pause tells you how I felt about, how Riff feels about Bernardo. So you have to find out in your dance where the pause is. The pause doesn't mean still. The pause means a tension that fills to the edge. Yeah. So now let's talk about three engines. I told you I was going to go all over the chart. Three engines of storytelling: intellect, heart, gut. That's where I believe our storytelling really comes from. There are three different colors, like light blue, red. They change per song, but this is almost always white, light blue. This is almost always red. So in the theater, I believe that there's no music playing. So this is an important concept in my world. Not everybody agrees with me on this. But I believe that in the theater, the reason we sing or the reason we dance is because spoken dialogue can no longer capture the quality of emotion. Yeah, we know that. And so then it takes on a musical form. So when I'm on the street, and I'm in that drugstore, boy, crazy boy. The jukebox is not playing that song. He's not singing to the song that's playing on the jukebox. Or when he's singing Something's Coming, there's no boombox at his drugstore that he's cleaning and he's singing to that music. That is his musical existence. So there's an inherent need for honesty. Everything that I sing, everything that I dance, everything that I stage has to be the exact same thing as the music. And so knowing that now, our engines, from wherever I'm interpreting a line, that engine goes to an extreme. So here's, like, for example, my son is going to cross the street. He doesn't see the taxi cab coming. That is, I'm going to react in here if that happens. You see what? I went away from that engine as far as I could go, as opposed to, this is my intellectual. See, it just reacts differently. Love story, back to the pause again now. The grand jeté is the extension of that heartfelt thing. Does that sort of make sense? Yeah. I'm a rhythmic choreographer, so a lot of my line is not about the length of the line, but it's about the speed hitting the length. And so, like West Side Story, you know what I'm saying? That sense of rhythm meeting length. And you'll watch this as you see my work that's successful and unsuccessful. My challenge is that my tendency is to stay in the pedestrian place and never go far enough into the length. And it's contradictory, because at the same time we're all trying to tell emotional stories that go so far that they change people's lives. So wouldn't that say that you have to get out of your pedestrian body language? At some point in time you have to sing a high note if you're in love. So that's, if you see something, not mine, anybody's, that you say, just didn't take off. Why didn't it take off? Ask yourself, why didn't it take off? And you'll have a lot of different answers. The set wasn't lit in a way that the colors were warm. That's a substantial reason a lot of Broadway musicals don't take off, because the surrounding atmosphere is cold, and so your heart is never ready to explode. Does that sort of make sense? Okay, so now we've talked about all the things. I think I need to dance a little bit, because I'm just like... So my job is to either tell a story through the soloist's dance language, or to tell a story in the way that the dance frames... I have to say this. Sorry. So we were talking about close-ups before. I struggled for so long to choreograph the blackout in the Heights. And in the end will maybe be one of my favorite things I will ever do in my life. And I kept asking myself, how do you light a blackout? Because I couldn't choreograph the blackout. I shouldn't be able to see those people. So how do I light a blackout? So there are a lot of different answers. Cell phone, joke, audience laughs. But then that still doesn't light the number. And so there was blue light. There were shafts of light through windows that would hit vocalists just so I could see the vocal. They go out in the street, moonlight lights them. There's still no driving narrative. The blackout is a metaphor. So you have to figure out in your dancing, in your staging, how you bring the metaphor to life. The metaphor of the blackout is that these two couples are dividing. These two couples who love each other are falling apart through this volatility. The blackout is a metaphor for all that. All these people are bombarding and crashing and breaking down. So they sang this heartfelt vocal, the four of them, in a community of 25 people in a blackout. How am I going to see them? And so what I chose to do, and it's one of the best moments in the show, the entire cast stops and goes and hits the floor and continues their staging sideways. And at the same time, the four people who are singing stay standing in specials. So I'm only looking at them, and how do you feel when you lose the one you love? Like your life is turned upside down. So the world has turned upside down. The world has turned sideways. And I hear her sing this wrenching high note about being lost, and everybody's back up again and they're lost. They're literally lost. So that's what I do, is I struggle to figure out how I can bring the audience into the close-up. That sort of makes sense? Let's just dance. Anybody wants to dance? Come dance with me. Or I can just start. You can go.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to talk about just to get into this